Alright, welcome back ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Nick. As always, you can call me Tetra Ninja, and we are once again back playing some early gameplay footage of Fallout 76. What happened to Fallout 5 to 75? I have no idea. 76 is just, it's the year.
And identify yourself.
And this robot is not happy that we're here. Anyways, so yeah, this is some more gameplay footage of Fallout 76 that I got to record at a Bethesda event last week. This is part 2 of my preview videos. If you missed part 1, you can find it in the description below. Get the intro cinematic to the game. In this episode, I kind of wanted to touch on some stuff that I didn't really touch on that in depth in the first video. As well, I also asked you guys on Twitter if you had any questions for me, kind of like an AMA style, and so yeah, I'm also going to reply to some of your Twitter questions. So that is the plan for today. The early onset of this video is we're still kind of in the tutorial phase of the game, so pretty much the game tries to teach you how to survive in this world. So crafting, eating, drinking, don't have to pee at all, but there's obviously sleep as well. How to take down killer robots with a homemade machete, all that good stuff, obviously. So once again, we're still in the party of the one Bethesda Softworks employee, which is called the BSW Outlaw, and as well I have some other YouTubers as well in my party, Massive G and Baron Von Games. Those guys actually run pretty big YouTube channels as well. I don't spend that much time on YouTube watching YouTube videos. As crazy as that sounds, I just kind of jump on and do my thing. So this first town is kind of like a main hub of the area, so we got to collect a bunch of things as well as go through a couple tutorials, crafting, cooking.
Log, town of Flatwood.
Listening to this log.
God. There's no one here. The old tavern, the church, people were using them for shelter, but they're gone. Mutations we expected. But there's something else. A disease. I was attacked by... Well, it used to be a person. But it had these green, glowing lesions and its voice. Angry, tortured. We are one. What? Whatever happened here is beyond anything we expected. And we expected a lot.
I think
Before they were wiped out, the survivors called themselves the Responders. Looks like they were made of firefighters, police, emergency medical staff. They even have an automated system to teach people about treating water, food, survival. I'm doing their tests, and you should too. I know it's even worse than we imagined, but someone's got to know where the missile silos are and how to secure them. The Responders are the best lead we have. This is the Overseer, signing off.
Okay, she signed off. I think she's done now. So yeah, you need to do a bunch of stuff to kind of continue on with the single player experience. Got a gigantic mole rat right beside me. Just talking about the single player experience, some people were wondering how it compares to, I would say, a traditional Fallout game. Let's just say Fallout 4, Fallout 3-ish. I think the best comparison that I could make is if you guys ever played Elder Scrolls Online. I played ESO for about, I'd say, 4 to 5 hours, and it was fun. It felt exactly like an Elder Scrolls game, but you immediately can tell when you play it, it doesn't have that kind of on the rails. Well, I wouldn't say on the rails, because Bethesda games aren't usually on the rails. You can kind of do whatever you want, but it doesn't have that same level of detail in terms of the single player experience, and that kind of translates well to this game as well. I'm not 100% sure about the name Fallout 76. I think that if you would have called it, like, a better name of the game would have been like Fallout World or Fallout Online. It would have just given the consumers a better idea what the game is all about. if you're a traditional Fallout fan, but you're not too hardcore in the series, you may be a bit confused if you buy this game, not knowing what to expect. The fact that it's really structured around multiplayer gameplay, so maybe if they would have called the world or online, but maybe this is stuff that's probably been discussed at Bethesda Softworks, and it's probably way above my pay grade. But anyways, so the next part of this quest is to kill the rest of these robots, just because I guess we're kind of past the point of Skynet. We have other things to worry about. So yeah, I would say it's not as good as a single player experience as you would find in a traditional Fallout game. Just how ESO wasn't as good of a single player experience as traditional Elder Scroll games. It's kind of like in the same type of vein, but what it makes up for it is that you do have this ability to party up with other people for the very first time, which can be a good or a bad thing depending on what type of player you are. Personally, myself, I am a person who likes my single player experiences, playing by myself, doing these videos for you guys, but you have options. Obviously, like I said, the single player experience isn't as good as a traditional game, but maybe if you're a person who likes to play with your friends a lot, likes to team up with your friends, jump on a server together and play together, then this game obviously will be up for you. That being said, you will miss out on some key moments because your friends will be picking up stuff, they'll be finding stuff that will help progress the mission and stuff. So if you want that full experience to yourself, maybe you want to play the majority of the game by yourself at first, and then once you reach the end game of this quote-unquote story, then you can team up with other people who have also completed the story, other high-level people, so you can kind of tackle some of the end game stuff to get some of the best gear in the world. So basically Pete Hines, which was really cool. I actually got to meet Pete Hines. Todd Howard was actually not at the event. I was kind of looking forward to meeting him, but apparently he was sick. But they said that pretty much in terms of what you're going to get out of the game, you can complete about 75% of the total game by yourself. But in terms of getting like a super high level gear, the last 25% you will need to party up with a group of other team members, just because I'm assuming there's probably stuff that requires you to do actions at the same time, maybe do DPS at the same time on a single boss or enemy, which is kind of cool. Imagine like shooting off 4 Fatmans off at the same time. That'd be pretty sweet. So like I said, 75% of the game they told us you can complete by yourself, but to finish off the later end stages of the game, you have to be in a party and really take advantage of the multiplayer systems to get the full reward system out of the game. So yeah, take that for what you will. So another question that I was getting a lot is how stable was the game? So this game, once again, we were playing on Xbox One X's, and the game probably ran at a solid 30 frames per second when we weren't encountering other players. So it was fairly stable, the frame rate. Still had some bugs along the way, which you may see in the video. Just basically missions not continuing and stuff like that. Once again, this is still an earlier build of the game. But where the frame rate really started to drop and kind of take a nosedive is when you started encountering other parties and other players in the world. So the other players that were hooked up to the same network and the same server that we were in, that were all participating in the same event. When you start encountering some of those other players, especially when we encounter, you'll see in a very future video, we encounter an actual BSW employee. He was complete decked out in complete power armor. When we started fighting him, the frame rate took an absolute shit and probably dropped to like 5 or 10 frames per second. He was quite actually teleporting across the map. But once again, yeah, I would recommend playing the PC version of the game if you can help it. So once again, fairly stable within your party of 4 people. Not so stable when you encounter some other people across in the world, and we'll have to see when the full game comes out, or there's early beta going on Xbox One as well. So yeah, another thing that people were kind of concerned about is the idea of microtransactions, because they straight up said there will be microtransactions in the game. The only difference is, or the main thing to take note of, is that all the microtransactions are purely cosmetic. So there's no pay to win system, you just pay to look cooler. So far, that's what they told us. Obviously, we have to wait once again for the full game to see if this is true. But I would say that pretty much Bethesda has gained the benefit of the doubt in consumer service and making sure that they keep their fans happy. No one can ever say that they don't try to at least try to keep their fans happy. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt until then. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have on my personal side. Once again, if you guys have questions, you can ask me in the comment box below. I scoured through the first video because I asked you guys for your questions there as well. I didn't really see anyone's questions. It was just mostly just comments about what they saw. So let's get to your Twitter questions. Chris Caswell, or Mind of a Sanist, asked, do you feel lonely playing it? Like, does it feel the game leaves you high and dry or behind? In this case, obviously, since I was in a party, I wouldn't say I felt alone, but I could see it because you don't really have any pressing directions on how you start the game and how you proceed. It could honestly feel like alone, and that is, I personally like that. I like that. Kind of like you're a very small player in this gigantic world feel, and I think that's the main thing that open world games should kind of strive for. They make the worlds feel massive, so you should try to maybe play it by yourself. But you could feel alone, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. So next question is by Evan, or Real Evan AMC. What are your opinions of the fight activation system? I am not 100% sure what that is. If you're talking about like the PvP element of the game. So in this game, when you encounter other players in the world, you can completely ignore them, or you can choose to fight them. If another player shoots you, or you shoot at them and they don't fight back, and you kill them or they kill you, they instantaneously get marked as a murderer, and they pop up on the world map for everyone on that server at the time. So basically you get like a big flag above you that says that you're a murderer. But if you do fight back, obviously then it just becomes a regular fight and nothing happens. But that's pretty much, I think it incentivizes people to roll together so they don't get jumped. But at the same time, if you don't want to be violent, it gives you an option to be pacifist and kind of takes away from the other players. So yeah, I didn't really dive too much into PvP. I was mainly trying to gather as much single-player gameplay as I possibly could for you guys, but you will see some PvP stuff a little bit later. Next question is from Jacob Hauser 5. How many people you can have in your party? I didn't ask that question, to be honest with you. All I know is that there was at least 4, just because there's 4 right now. Maybe they'll expand that. I could see like I could probably see maybe the PC version having more, but console, I think 4 is probably a good number. Itachi of Leaf asked how stable was the online and starting our lag. Once again, I answered that a little bit earlier. It was pretty stable just amongst us 4. Not so great when we encountered other players. At 4 Ninja Toes asked, can you play homebrew on your Pip-Boy? I did not see that option, but I honestly didn't dive that much into it because I felt like just keep going on and playing and exploring. I didn't take that much time to explore the options of my Pip-Boy. Wolfing Creek asks, what happened to the other 72 Fallout games? I don't know. Ask Bethesda. So next question comes from at Korean Wonder. How do you think the pacing of the game feels when it comes out? I think the pacing is pretty much what you make of it with the open world. Do you want to stick with the single player experience and try to just go gung-ho at it, or do you want to just take your time to explore it? So really do play how you feel game. So yeah. Next question comes from Brooklyn Shire. Where are the Vault Boys at? I do not know. Maybe they're still stuck in the vault. Next question is from Joart Jonas. Do you feel lonely playing without NPCs? Actually, to be honest, this is the first time that I just realized there aren't any NPCs in this game, which is probably why the single player experience isn't as in-depth as I would have wanted it. Yeah, my mind just got blown that there are no I just realized there is no NPCs in this game. Felt lonely, I guess. So yeah. Anyways, my mind's still blown. Next question comes from Ryan Earthery, I think. What makes this Fallout game any different than others? It's online. You can play with other players, which is a pretty big deal, in my personal opinion. And last question comes from ya boy Graphy. Do you think this game will surpass Anthem? I can't answer that question because Anthem hasn't been released yet. So, yeah. Oh, there's one more question coming from Eddie Kaya. How large is the camp base you can construct? You can save it, buildings and defenses for another day, or is it lost when you log out? I did not get into the camp building simulation, so I have no idea. To be honest with you, I'm assuming if you build the camp, you can probably keep it. It just would make sense. I think a lot of people would be cheesed otherwise if you could not. So, yeah. Anyways, those are your questions. In the next episode, I think you see like a mission glitch out here. I'm gonna leave this with you guys, so you guys can watch the rest of the gameplay. And the next episode, you'll find that I kind of decide to separate from the group. I decided to take I actually asked them to boot me out because they were busy really trying to get the open world aspect of the game. They were actually trying to hunt down the Hawkman and go to the Nuka-Cola factory, whereas I wanted to show you guys more single player elements of the game. So if you're into more single player elements, you can look forward to part 3 of the series, and we'll just continue on after that. Some PvP stuff and some cool monsters, as well as the series finishes off in typical Fallout style. So you guys can look forward to that. So until then, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you enjoy, a thumbs up is greatly appreciated, and I will see you guys next time. As always, have a fast day.